Hey everyone, Mherex here, bringing you another video. This one we're going to be taking a look at my Flash Feud lineup and doing some Flash Feud prep for Flash Feud 1. Um, so I guess let's start with a couple things. This one is worth noting. This is from the blog, so at the time I'm recording this, I'm assuming it's accurate. I don't know. Friday only. Grab a free +1 MP Feud perk in the store. Don't miss out on this. Now, I don't know if this means it's only going to work for Friday Feud or all weekend, but if you log in and grab this, you'll have +1 MP Feud perk. So it's like a free Santa Hogan. So that's going to be really useful and impactful on a lot of builds. So keep that in mind. You're going to have 1 extra MP. Your CSS for Feud 1, again, according to the blog, it's not in game yet, so keep that in mind, is the new Special Edition Cena up top, Chain Gang Special Edition, Logan Paul, the Ultimate Disruptor, and any Dominik Mysterio. So not too bad, right? Not too bad. And then as far as your, their steel cage, no negatives, just positives. Column break gems at 100%. Bleeds do 100%. Multiply gems get a 50% boost, and red gems get a 50% boost. So that's pretty solid. Steel cage as well, little addition there. Your move charges, your middle lane is +1 all MP, 50% column break. It's whatever. Not as good as they have been lately, but it's not like, I don't know, it's just not that much. Your bottom lane is +1 move charge to red moves, and multiply gems do 25% more. So this is likely what I'll start with, and I'll show you how I'm going to run everybody as well in this one. And then once Logan's 2 matches are done, I'm switching to Cody for my SmackDown. There's a few good SmackDown options. I think the first 3 you see here are going to be the ones most people can go with in this slot. Cody, Waller, Jacob, you know what I mean? Like, I think one of those 3 you should probably have. And then you could make a case for the solos potentially as well if you don't have any of those. I mean, like Cody will work or KO, right? But I think like most people can, these 3 would be who they'd target here. I'm using Cody over Jacob because he's faster for me, and I'll show you the gameplay because I like speed, right? And multiply gems do benefit Jacob for sure. Jacob will hit harder, no question. This is a showboat slot, right? Hall of Fame Goldberg, I think, is one a lot of people could run. Or like Zombie Brett if you don't have like Sammy, Rex, Vader, Gunther, etc., etc. I think Hall of Fame Goldberg is one a lot of people maybe target in this spot, like for your guy to go to, because he's very, very good. So, in this slot, it's Ruthless Aggression. If I had Hornswoggle, I would probably run Hornswoggle, to be honest, but I don't. So Ruthless Aggression, you should pick your best one. For a lot of people, if you don't have Chain Gang Cena, it's probably Ozzy, right? So like one of those 2. Veteran Cena is really good as well. Eddie, not at all. And then Striker Batista is a Striker? Yeah, is pretty good as well. So, you know, I would go that route. I'm gonna use Cena. This open slot, I'm starting with Dom to get the CSS done. I really like Dom. He's really good. I'll show you how I run him. It's on the Whaley side, but it's really good, and all of that. But if you don't have Dom, it's open, so just use your fastest, best character, right? That it doesn't matter who. For a lot of people, Shredder, you know, maybe NWO Macho, maybe Austin here, Mercy, Julius, Ilya, you know, no shortage. Just run your best one there. It's open, right? Easy peasy. So the top lane is any Cena, right? I'm gonna go ahead and run the last time is now Cena, but you would take whatever, it needs to be 6-star silver, so put your best 6-star silver Cena in there. Although keep in mind, if you have 2 Cenas that work out better, like I do, to put Ruthless Aggression here and this Cena here, then go that route, right? You don't have to, but if you got like Hip Hop Cena, you know, and Special Edition, you could go that route as well. So keep that in mind, right? This Trickster slot, actually really like R-Truth here, because he's really good, really fast. NWO Macho would be another really good one. Again, you're just running your best Trickster. I think for a lot of people, They won't have everything to run R-Truth, so, you know, maybe literally anything you see in the top row could be very common. Bubba as well, Solo, Woods, right? Any of those will be fine. Don't, like, Woods gets a boost from the 2 times, R-Truth from the column break, right? Macho a little bit from the column break, so it's not hugely impactful, but it's not nothing either, right? So, yeah, I think any of those in that slot's fine. And again, open slot, you just take your best one. Whoever is your best, you throw in there in the 2 open slots. That's what you live for, is open slots, right? So I think, like, it's not really hard to set up. The CSS are only 2 wins. That's a good amount. I like it when they're not a bunch of wins. Logan is by far the worst of the CSS, but I got a couple different ways you can run him. Also, if you move him up to the middle lane, you're going to get +2 MP, right? So I may also start this way instead, with Cody here and Logan here in Yeet's spot. Actually, now that I think about it, for the +2 MP for Logan is pretty useful. He's going to be harder for me to find because he's lower talent. He's gold, but he's missing a ton of levels, right? And I have no desire to level him, but I can show you. Anyway, I don't need to throw him in there. You get the picture. I could just probably put him here, because that extra 1 MP and this extra MP gives him 2 to start. 1 for the middle lane, 1 for this, and then 1 for his turn. So he's actually starting with 3 MP in the middle lane, this one. So Logan, I would probably put there, depending which build you're going to run, actually. If you run the faster build, that takes more rare stuff, that 3 MP in the middle lane is going to be extremely useful. And if not, then bottom lane is fine, right? So, yeah, I think that's kind of covered it, that part. I'll show you some of my builds. And again, keep in mind that extra MP is going to come in pretty clutch with that perk. So I like that they're doing that. I think that's actually neat, adds a lot of options. You know, you start your middle lane all of a sudden is even more attractive. Your bottom lane, you know, you with just that 1 extra MP lets you do a lot more, right? So let's start taking a look at some people. We'll start with Logan, since I think a lot of people are like, I'm not really sure how to run Logan. I'll show you 2 builds. And the first one is like without as many awesome things, and you won't need the middle lane to pull any of it off or anything like that. I will show it to you with Sherry on. If you don't have Sherry, it's no big deal. You run it the same exact way. Same exact way, but without Sherry. So it's just triple purple, right? You're going to throw your sub, you're going to throw your pyros, and then you're going to choose. And if you don't have Sherry, whatever 2 multiply person you have one of them. It doesn't matter which one, throw it there. Woods, now it's only 6 MP, so your turn in the free perk of 1 gives you the 6 you need to start with the sub. And then after the sub, these will be charged on your next turn, so you're good. Entourage, if you have Leo, you're going to use him instead of probably Gunther. And then Zombie Brett. If you don't have Zombie Brett, Zombie Chelsea's fine, right? Now for the strap, Logan shares a strap with Kyrie. Kyrie, if you have an LA Knight plate or a Piper plate on him, Piper plate will give you 100% to all gems with this moveset. LA Knight will give you 300% to blues, and then if you want to, I wouldn't recommend it for 2 matches. You could put all heart on there to get some 100% purple gem damage. Again, wouldn't recommend it. I just bogarted this from Kyrie, so just literally swapped it over, and no big deal. You can see I'm missing 108 levels. That's a huge portion. It's like 40% gem damage, pretty much. 30%, more like 33%. Basically, everything you see would hit 33% harder if he were maxed at gold. So this is probably hitting somewhere between a gold and a silver. But again, I would look to punch down with Logan. So if you have him at silver, try and beat bronzes, pick on other Logans if you see him, whatever, because he's not going to be great. Anyway, enough talking. Let's start with the triple purple. We've bogarted Kyrie strap. And triple purple, here we go. The gameplay loop is just going to be your sub. And it does what it does. It's 4 turns. You'll lose some multiply gems. And then you're up to Lady Luck to decide what you do from there. because these pyro gems, they're 6 random. They literally could go in the same column. It's just whatever. And you can see that was super crappy, and that's super normal. You could get more pyro gems if you wanted and throw Tonga on it a coach and get 3 more. Honestly, I've found it really doesn't matter. The game typically says screw you when it comes to this. So you're going to get this kind of stuff all the time, and just try and make the best of a bad situation out of it, for lack of a better term. You're just going to try and recycle, right? So whatever. You're just gonna miss. But do you see that was 23 million? It's not great. You add 30% to that. That's another 6 million, 29. I mean, like, it just is what it is. It's gonna be like, if you try and punch across, it's probably a 2-cycle win. If you punch down, maybe a 1-cycle win. You just need to get your 2 matches though, and then just stop using him. Like, completely stop using him. So, this is dual build sets workable for most people. This may end up better, but they, again, watch like 3 go here. Yeah, it's almost like I've done this a few times. You just see like the game will just say, you know what, screw you, pal. That's just what it does when it comes to random. And we actually got a pretty decent cascade out of that, but that's 24 mil. So it's gonna be what it's gonna be when it comes to this with Logan. Yeah. If you're thinking about back in the day, people used to love to use a Sheik plate on him and hit a bunch of moves and stuff. That is not going to translate. If you like that, when he originally came out, there's people that like that moveset. And it wasn't great even then. It's really bad now. So, and you can just see like, yep, the game's just like, no, sir. Nope. No soup for you. That's just what it will just, yep. But it's fine. Again, it hits okay, but it is what it is, right? All right, so now you can really do some stuff, especially if you have the plate that I have on this build, with the perks you're going to get and a middle lane. So if you have the LA Knight plate that adds, what is it, 300% blue gem damage when you make pyros? Yeah, 300% blue gem when you make 4 or more pyros. You can absolutely do some stuff with this build if you have the right trainers. So keep in mind, we're going to have 1 for middle lane, because we're going to run a middle lane. We're going to have 1 for our turn, that's 2. And then we're going to have the MP, special MP feud perk that they're giving out, so that's 3. So we're going to have 3 MP to start before MP trainers. So we only need to get 4 on the purple and 1 on the green to load them. So we are going to run Woods and Cherry and Santa. Where you at? Right here like this. Okay. If you have Leo, you'll put him where Gunther is, but let me show you this, and then I'll throw Leo on for you too. Did I change the move? Yeah. You also could, if you're worried about recycling, again, it's not worth messing with for this. You could throw break purple or blue and get 3 green, and then you would recycle. Or you could use, and this would benefit Kyrie as well, so you maybe already have it on there, is the Pyro Princess plate. But this will be pretty easy. You're just literally going to drop your multiplies. I like picking spots with a decent amount of blues. You're going to pop your pyros out here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Now we have 3.5 million on the blues. Oh, by the way, if you're a showboat, it hits hardcore. If you go against a showboat, and it increases the multiply gem strength with this. But we're going to just do this, and you can see now we've got both columns. And we're not going to hit the middle one this way, but we'll just do it like that, and then we'll get a little bit of that too. Like so. So you can see we got a bunch of blue, bunch of purple. That was 35 million fairly quickly. So again, punch down, not up. And that's a super fast win with him. You can also, if you don't want to mess with the little middle lane, bottom lane plus the Feud MP perk, you're going to start with one for your turn is 2. So you can then do this. And this is also if you have Leo. So you can go with her. So now your green will be charged. And your purple, you have 4 and 5, 6, 7, and then just you can throw Leo here if you have Leo, like this. And you can also do this. And this would be charged without the middle lane. So this is probably all I'll run him in the SmackDown slot, honestly. Like this. But it's just another option. And here, let me read the hardcore description on this too. Showboat, if it's hardcore, first increase the strength of your multiply gems by 5. So it hits a little harder on a showboat. So if you can find a showboat a little lower level than you, it'll be even easier. Here we have a decent amount of blues. This should be a pretty good pop. Because we can mostly forget about the purples, to be honest. And do this kind of thing, and just get a bunch of blues, and then the purples fall into place anyway. And you can see that time we hit for 40 mil, right? Again, if you had it maxed out, that 40 would be another, what? So 10% is for like another, like 52 mil, 55 mil, something like that. But why max Logan out? Anyway, with these perks, there's a couple different ways you can run him, so not bad. Dom has a power gem build, which you can absolutely run. Dom is super good. If you have Mellow, you can do way more with him. If you don't have Mellow, you can do way less with him, but he still has stuff you can work with. It's 2 wins, shouldn't be hard either way. Now, if you have really good stuff, Dom is awesome, right? So if you don't have really good stuff, you're probably locking into triple yellow. Bleed, sub, choose yellow. You can get the bleed multiple times. You can check my preview for that. You can also do power gems even without Mellow. It's just not as good as it is with Mellow. And he can do a ton of damage with those power gems, especially with Mellow. And then finally you have the build set I like, which is 2-click, Springboard Moonsault, Frog Splash. Dom, though, I have his Moment, I have a 150 Strap, I have Chemical X, and I have Black Royal Rumble. This way, he's actually super underrated, incredible striker. So with the perk, I don't need, it doesn't matter what lane he's in, I don't need Santa, so that opens up this spot where Goldberg would be. If you have it, you would use Zombie LA Knight for black gem damage and multiply gem damage. If you don't, you'd use any zombie here. Doesn't matter who. I'm just going to go ahead and throw Zombie LA on because that's how I'll run him when I'm doing his. And it's literally just the 2 moves. It's the Juggernaut. If you don't have Goldberg, then another zombie is who you'd use. If you don't have Chemical X, Braid Blade is what you'd use. And if you don't have Black Royal Rumble, I don't know that there's anything I would put in that slot, to be honest. You could use any other Royal Rumble, it just won't be as good because the Juggernauts buff black gem damage. But this way you can see Dom hits very hard and is very simple. 137 million. Right? So, it's just love Dom that way. I get that it's Whaley. It's still really good with just a Chemical X. It's pretty good with just a Braid. Oh, you could run Braid and a Veer Plate if you have a Veer Plate. Drain their MP and never worry about losing. Okay, so those are the 2 CSS. We got those out of the way. Now I'll show you how I'm going to run the rest of my lineup. Again, apologies if some of this is Whaley for some people. You don't need to run them this way. You can always check my previews on any of them for less Whaley ways to run them. I'm just setting them up how I'm going to run Feud. I've had people express that they want to see how I do it. So that's what I'm gonna do, right? I'm just gonna show you guys how I run everything. Again, check the previews, and you can see less whaley ways on all of them, right? So in the bottom slot, we're going Hall of Famer on after the CSS are done. Am I in the wrong slot here? Or am I just blind? Probably blind knowing me. There he is. Definitely blind. All right. The CSS are done. We're rocking with this. I'll just go through middle line first. We got Cena, Truth, and Jey. Let's not fight Sami with Cena since he has traps. And I'd rather not get mocked for doing it yet again. So Cena, I love the 2-click with the ultimate betrayal. No surprise to anyone that Mherex likes 2-click over the 3-click that hits a little bit harder. I still need to fill a star. I will do that is when Flash Feud starts. I do have his moment. I do have tier 6s on. Honestly, every single slot that I'm going to run for Feud has tier 6 Furies. So that's, you're getting to the point where you're going to see people with a lot of Fury sets. One of the guys in my faction has 11, and he's not a huge whale at all. He'll spend, he's a dolphin, but he's not a whale, and he has 11 sets of Fury too. Okay? So keep that in mind. Everyone on his, or sorry, Fury 3, literally everyone he run will have Fury 3. So we're just going with the green because I don't have enough rainbows, but green is fine on this Cena. And it's just the attitude adjustment and the ultimate betrayal. 2-clicker. I have the reversal in just cuz. This is the way I set him up. I want the 3 extra trap gems and the 2 extra trap gems from Steamboat. So we have 41. So we connect almost all of them. I'll be filling Stunning Steve. He's 40% all color gem damage. And this is 40% all color gem damage with a health boost. Okay. So that's just, he's got 99 MP. So we'll take advantage of it. And it's literally just the 2 clicks, and then the Taker Plate Ultimate Ride adds 200% green when you make trap gems. So literally we're just going like this. The unblockable trap gem damage when they break, I think, is right around 37 million. And then there's the gem damage on top of it, which there was 58 million. So it's basically like 100 million, and I still need to fill a star. 100% strap on that, by the way. So that's Cena. Super. You can see just how fast that is. He's going to steamroll in that slot. Then we move on to R-Truth, and we're not going to go against Column Break Scott Steiner. I'm dodging bullets here. So Truth, a lot of people have asked me to make a video on this. I probably will, because my Truth is kind of ridiculous at this point. He hits super hard. What you need to hit super hard is a lot. Both gears are recommended, and this moment. The other moment, not nearly important, but loser leaves Judgment Day. And then both gears. I don't show the party gear because I think it looks stupid. But both of those add 200% column break gem damage each, so now you're up to 400%. Strap for Truth, I have 100%er. Again, Fury 3s with purple. All gem would be better. He can get away with purple. Yeet Plate, 500% gem damage, and Judgment Day Drip. 7 multiplied strength 7s. Again, he's a 2-click. So normally we'd use Santa here. We don't have to, so it's Mellow, Woods, Lyra, and then when you don't have to use Santa, there's 2 ways you can go. You can go purple multiply for the JD Drip, which is probably what I would do. This is technically more consistent with Rock and Roman, purple gems and 3 more purple. I almost am inclined to go that way, but this will be fine. Plus, there's the 100% column break moveset, and I will show you against someone with more health than Sami, because Truth actually hits really hard this way. Plus, there's going to be the feud boost, right? So literally, it's just 2-click. Technically, it's 3 because you're placing gems here. So technically, it's 2 moves, 3 clicks. And the column break move does 20 million damage. It'll do more in Feud. Then you blow up the board for 72 million. So that was 92 million damage out of Truth there. Not quite as good if you're Fury 3 against Fury 3 as that shows there. But obviously he can hit and do it quickly, which is why I love him in that slot. Jey Uso Yeet. Yeet, I have his gear. If you have Yeet's gear, he's unreal. He's so fast, he's so easy, and he's so good. Super simple, just word 2-clicking. Again, all this stuff, if you don't have it, check my previews, guys. You can see how to run them with much less whaley stuff. In fact, what you're seeing here is stuff I typically a lot of times won't even do in a preview. So it's just the 2 blues with the gear. We got 4 blue, 6, then 1 for our turn is 7, 1 for the magical perk is 8. So black gems do 50% more damage with Roman, 40%, and then 30% here. Stunning Steve would give you 40% all color, so you could use him as well. Also, if you have Zombie LA, it's 40%. And Yeet is as awesome, literally, as they get. So fast, so good, and hits ridiculously hard. Just don't use him against the Hall of Famer. 128 million. He's got Fury 3s, by the way, as well. No plates. Yeet does not need any plates. Plates just slow him down. If you don't have his gear, then you would do a Black Royal Rumble, and that would be awesome. But with his gear, there's 0 reason to do plates. 130% strap, and then Fury 3s. All right. Bottom line, we're going to run Cody because I think he's my fastest SmackDown, plus I like Cody. This is the one and only place I like the blasting off plate. I think in every other case, Titan plate is better. Cody's doing greens. So we got the green Fury 3s, 130% strap, tricolor, just like I've always liked him. Not going to need Santa either. So then we get to use an extra person, which for me will be Snowfall Gems, do 100% more damage, I think. Nope, we're going to do double zombie, because the anniversary leaves multiply gems. So let's do... it doesn't matter which one. Any zombie's fine. Raquel, Lawler, and it's 3-click. Not Raquel, Roxanne. Gosh. So this is a 3-click, but it's a super fast 3-click. It actually is very good. His animations are super fast. Timed him out a bunch. He's faster than a lot of people might think. And this is really good. And again, this is the only place I like the blasting off. The Titan is almost as good. So no, it's not that much better. So don't freak out if you don't have blasting off. That's 90 million. So that was not a particularly great hit, but it is what it is. It's pretty solid. 3 clicks, 90 mil, right? Faster than Jacob for sure. And that's why he gets that slot over Jacob for me. Other slot is Showboat. I got Sami. So Sami is, I think, actually manages to be underrated for a few reasons. You can run him a ton of different ways. I have the moment. I have a 150 strap. I have Fury 3s. This is for 3-clicking, the Heartstopper. Okay. I don't prefer to 3-click. So the moveset I run is Blue Thunder Bomb and Haluva Kick. Because if you run this, you don't have to worry about people that counter MP up. The gem damage comes on the finisher, so you don't need to worry about Hall of Fame. He just goes against everybody with 2-click. But you have the option to add more clicks for more damage. So you don't need Santa because of this one. And when you don't need Santa, you just want straight blue gem damage. So 30, 40%, Zombie Gunther's better, whatever. We're just going to go here. Kofi, Braun, and Goldberg. So I'll show you a couple things with Sami because I love Sami. But the majority of the time, I just 2-click with him because it's super fast and efficient, like this. The other thing you can do is if you get in a match and you notice they have like 150 million health or whatever, instead of 2-clicking, and you can see that's 90 million. A Blue Royal Rumble would hit significantly harder. Like a Blue Royal Rumble on that build right there would probably hit for like 140 million, but it would slow him down. And I don't think he needs it. So that's build 1. And then you can also, if you get in the match with this build, right? Once you're in the match and you're like, oh crap, he has way more health than I thought. 90 million's not enough. Then you can do this. And then you can do this. And then you can hit this again. And then you can hit the finisher. And that's 180 million. You put a blue Royal Rumble on that, you're probably getting close to 300 million, by the way. Probably very close to 300 million. But again, it would take too long for me, so I don't do it. And there's one other thing you can do if you don't want to set up that way, for 3 clicks, or you don't have Braun, but somehow you have Sami or Braun's in use. Then you go from, you can go Lawler or Braun, it doesn't really matter. They're the same. And then you use Seth for Juggernaut gems here. And then you 3-click him. And that's why the plate you're looking at that I showed you, the HBK plate is there. Because then you just hit this. You get a 50% boost. It doesn't add any time. Now you chuck your Juggernauts. And this is the middle ground between the 2-click and the 4-click. Obviously, and you're going to see damage-wise it works out into the middle ground as well. And that's 111 million. So Sami gives you a 2-click 90, 3-click 110, or 4-click, what was it, like 180? That's why I love Sami. On top of he does interact with the board, you don't need to use a gem chucker. Best showboat in the game in my opinion, but I am super biased when it comes to Sami. Who's in the next slot for me? I'm trying to remember. I'm gonna have to go back and look. I know the Hall of Fame Ron is the other one, but I don't know who the next one was. I can't remember. Oh, it's Cena. Yeah, Cena. So I settled for Feud because I don't like missing. As much as I like Triple Red, I settled for a little bit slower build with Acro Cena because it doesn't miss. So he still has 99 MP. I'll show you how I run Chain Gang with 99. And I have a 100% strap, I believe. Yep. Fury 3s again, and Pyro Princess. Okay. I run him yellow, red, yellow, leaping clothesline, leaping shoulder block, 5-knuckle shuffle, and 99 MP entourage, Sherry, Rowan, Bailey, Gunther. You could put Leo if you had him, but these multiply gems are so big, it's basically a wash. At that point, like, zombies are basically as good as Leo, but then when you get blue and red gems, zombies are probably better. And then you get a board like this, and you're like, hey-o, let's set it up for, there's blue and red, and then we can go, I don't think about it this long because it doesn't matter, to be honest. I see this, and I'm just taking blues, like this. And I could have taken the 3 blue there without a red, probably should have, to be honest, but it doesn't really matter. You're just trying to blast through it. So it is 4 clicks. A little bit longer than I'd like. He does need to be gold to run this, by the way. They don't go to this size until gold, and that's 111 million, right? So that's safe and efficient and done. It is an extra click, but I never have to worry about anything, so I go that route. And then finally, Hall of Fame Ron, who's ridiculously good. I will probably move Ron up to the middle lane for 2 boost. 1 for the middle and 1 for not. Let me look. Give me 1 second. I still need to fine-tune mine slightly where I put them. If I put Cody middle or in Jey down or what. But so with Ron, I have 100% strap. Again, Fury 3s. These 2 plates, not necessary. That's for doing more clicks, which I almost never do. Okay. This will give you, you can get, potentially, you can click 3 black moves if you're doing his 4-click and get 150% from here. And you also can get 100% from the power gem plate on the black gems. So you get a nice boost that way if you need it. So also have the Hall of Fame moment, makes his multiply gems bigger, X3. And then he takes 50% less gem damage, which is nice. Moveset, we're just looking to 1 click. So we have normally, and I have his gear, 1 gear, which gives 4 MP. So we have 4 MP, and then our turn gives us 5, and the special perk gives us 6. So that's 6 MP. And then Woods gives us 4 for 10. So we can drop Priest for Sherry. And then we can use any zombie here. Preferably Zombie LA if you have him. Otherwise, any zombie in that slot. And if you don't have Leo, again, any zombie because they're big multiply gems. So we can run this and be fully charged in the bottom. Let me just multiply. So 4 with gear, 4 with Woods is 8, 1 for a turn is 9, 1 for the special perks is 10. Yes, this will be fully charged. So this is a good to go 1 click. And you'll see how hard this hits. $82 million 1 click, fastest feuder in the game. Plus there's the boost to the multiply gems in the bottom lane of 25%, and with the perk of 50%, the steel cage. So there's more. So now, if you don't have his gear, you actually can run the same exact setup I showed you, but you're not fully charged, right? So if you don't have the gear, you are running Woods, right? Gives you 4. And the 2 perks gives you 6. Or the 1 for your turn and the 1 perk gives you 6. And if you look, the belly to back is 6 MP. So you literally can run the exact same build I just showed you with 1 more click, and it's super fast. So without gear, you just do this. Now you're getting a 50% boost from the radical plate. So 1 extra click, and instead of hitting for what we hit, like 80 million, it's 91 million. Okay. If you don't have the moment, if you don't have the crazy trainers, I'll show you one more thing, why he's still really good. So no gear and no crazy trainers, you can then do this, where we go from Sherry to, let's say you don't have Sherry, we'll just use Priest, and then we'll use double zombie, but not LA, because he is also black gems. Doesn't matter which zombies, they're all 60%, or yeah, 60% multiply. So we'll just run it like this, okay? And I can't unsimulate the moment. It's fine though. You'll get the idea. So then you start with your 1 MP move here, which gives you 50% black gem damage. And then you hit the and 100% from the power gem. So now you've gained 150% with the 2 plates. This gives you another 50. This won't overwrite, but it is another black move. So it gives you another 50%. And then you hit this. And you can see we did 105 million gem damage, plus the small power gem damage. So yeah, Hall of Fame Ron, similar to Sami, you got 1 click, 2 click, 3 click, 4 click options with Hall of Fame Ron, whatever you need to do in the situation. So like what I'll do, similar to Sami, I'm running my 1 click build, right, with my trainers. If I get in there and they're like, oh man, they're beefier than I thought, right? Like 80 million maybe isn't gonna cut it. Sorry. Then I'll just go 2 click. And the better 2 click is this one, because it gives me 150%. Like this. And my 80 million went to 106 million. You can also use the faster 2 click if you don't need that much. I mean, this is just why Ron is so good, just like Sami. You use so many speedy options, right? You can literally tailor it to what's in front of you, and it makes it super easy and super fast. Again, with the 1 click, you don't have to worry about any kind of reversal. Same thing with the power gem. You don't have to worry about any kind of reversal. This, you have to potentially worry about a couple people now, like CM Punk and Dom Mysterio, and you will be seeing Doms, obviously, because of the requirement. But then there's also this 2 click, which doesn't hit quite as hard, but still hits harder. So from 80, we go to, what is it? 91, right? And then, of course, you have the option to 3, where you do the power gems, that and that, hit harder, and then finally you can do all 4 again with the whaley setup, but I won't do that. This video's went long enough. Holy crap, it's 40 minutes. So anyway, that's all my builds. That's my logic to it. I don't know that I'll be able to do this for every Flash Feud. The Sunday morning one, there's no way I'll wake up in time or stay up late enough to do it. But I will try and get Flash Feud prep videos for you guys. And basically, no matter who you have, run your fastest, your easiest wins, your path of least resistance, and then Feud gets a lot easier, right? Don't worry or stress about the CSS. If you, and also, here's another really good tip for you. If you get in a match with your lineup and you got Logan in there, right? And you're in your match with old Logan here, and he's your worst one to get your CSS done with. Don't and you know it's going to be a hard match, don't fight it. Use your fast guys and just go in again. You don't need to use the CSS just because he's in there. You don't need to use everyone. If you're going to lose, if it's going to be slow, if it's going to be hard, if it's going to take a long time, use somebody better and get them next. Just get the CSS the next time, right? So like, yeah, and then once you're done with Logan, it's just party time, right? You throw in your best and your fastest, and now you're just going, right? So if something isn't working, change it. That's the great thing about Flash Feud in your lineup. You just, or feuds in general, you just change it up. But I would always be trying to fine tune your roster to get more efficient, easier, faster wins. The less hard you have to work, the easier Flash Feuds and feuds in general are. And look at every like, it's always, everyone is a chance to experiment or try new things. You don't try a bunch of stuff at once, but you're trying like one thing at once. Okay, this doesn't quite work on this guy, so let me switch to this. And your roster will determine who your best are. I could never tell you. I don't know your roster. I don't know your play style. But also as you're playing, you get a feel for it, and you're like, this just always does enough damage. It doesn't necessarily look sexy. It doesn't, no one's really talking about this character as being overpowered, but you're playing it, and you're always winning, and you're winning quickly, and it just works for you. Feel and what works is just as important as what you think on paper looks the best or what somebody says is the best, right? You got to go by how it feels to you. And as you lock in and all this stuff, I think part of it too, it's almost like getting on tilt, right? If stuff feels bad, right, you're like, oh, this sucks. You start making mistakes, and then it kind of snowballs, and then the game screws you or whatever. I feel like when something goes wrong, it just really starts to go wrong. So the more characters you get that just work, flow for you and run them, the better your experience is going to be. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of more of playing a game and enjoying it, and rolling with what works for you, as opposed to like really hardcore theoretical min-maxing or XYZ is always the best. Sometimes it's not the best, right? Like, so I'm just going to throw this out there for a comparison. You guys don't need to listen to it or agree with it or whatever. When Mrs. Mherex and I played World of Warcraft and we were in a raid guild, I was a huge guy in numbers. I would look up builds and I would tell her, okay, Furrier Hunter, this is what they say you need to run the raid builds the best, right? And we'd get her dialed in, like completely her gear, and then she would go play it. And she'd be like, nah, this doesn't feel good. I feel like I need more haste because even though they say I don't need it, when I go to do it, my ability isn't ready, or the global cooldown feels worse or whatever. So then I would help her fine tune it with the numbers that were different than what other people said were the best, and she was consistently, by far, not even close, the best damage in every raid we did, because I was like a fairly big numbers guy and would tell her the base numbers, and then she'd be like, no, this doesn't work. And then we'd like go at it and figure it out and try to see what felt right while playing. And that is on the person. Like you can't do that unless you do that, right? You have to put in the work, you have to try it, you have to test it, and you have to know what feels good to you. And Champions, well, it isn't quite on the level of like a MMORPG where you're completely dialing it into that. It is very similar because you're in a really fast-paced environment, And if something just doesn't click or feel right, it doesn't matter how hard it hits, how good it is, right? It just doesn't flow well. So I hope that makes sense. This is a way too long for a feud prep video. Let me know what you guys think. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helps. I hope you have a great weekend. And remember to like, subscribe, and share, because that does actually really help me out. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching. Good luck out there. Holy crap, how did I make a 45-minute feud prep video? A lot of people probably aren't even going to watch this whole thing.